Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk. I'm Merle Huckabee, and as you know, I like to talk about real people, real life, real issues. This is Real Talk. Today is July 16th, 2021. Thank God it is Friday. This is our 10th episode. I want to thank each and every one of you who join us or who take time later to look and share and like our page and share with your friends. It really means a lot to us. We know that we have conversations that really need to be had here. It's a beautiful overcast day here in Chicago. I don't know about you, but I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be alive and clothed in my right mind. We are truly blessed in the midst of everything that is going on. Today, I'm going to have two guests. Really excited. I'm always excited about our guests that come on and take their time to share with us. My brother Phil B will be joining me in the second segment. But before I introduce my next guest, who I'm just super excited about, I want to talk a little bit about reading. Reading, as you know, is fundamental. I'm not even sure that people even know that or are aware there are still people out here that cannot even read. Knowledge is power. Research shows that if you read while you're pregnant, about the 18th week, that baby or child can hear you. If you continue to read, even before that child can read, and even thereafter, it helps in bonding and the development of that child in vocabulary and speech, among other things. I was blessed and I'm still blessed. I was blessed to be a grandma. 10 months ago, my daughter gave birth to my grandson. So, I was out buying and still buying toys that connect my grandson to learning while, of course, having fun. I had a little bit of an issue, though. And this was my thought, and I don't know if anybody else has ever thought this. And I think I thought about it more today than when I had my children, my first child, almost 26 years ago. I took issue with, I didn't see a lot of products or books or toys that had Black voices. When I turned the pages and looked at books, I didn't see a lot of Black and brown people on those books. And while we live in a diverse world, we do want our children to be able to see and identify with people that look like them. So that's in books, in toys, and the voices you hear, movies, television programming, and you want them to see other races, don't get me wrong, but we want them to be able to identify with Black and brown people. We don't want that to limit them. So I don't want anybody sending me notes and saying, but we live in a diverse world. Sure we do. But we don't want to limit them, but we do want to have equal representation. This is why I am so excited to bring my next guest. She is helping to close the gap on this issue and creating more selections for Black and brown people. So if you have children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, godchildren, if you're an educator or just a consumer who would like to see more representation in African American Black books, this episode is for you. My next guest, again, I'm just so excited. She is an amazing sister. I've never had the chance to meet her, so we're going to meet her together today. She is a mother to a wife. She's an author, a filmmaker, a playwright, and independent creative producer for television and film. She's a graduate of Columbia College and DePaul University right here in Chicago. I would like to welcome to Real Talk Jordan Rivers. Jordan, are you there?
I am here. Hi.
Hi, Jordan. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. I mean, when I was looking and doing the research on you, I just got excited. I just got excited. And for the projects, and I don't want to jump ahead of myself because I'll do that. But would you introduce anything that you want to say that maybe I left out to tell our audience a little bit more about you?
Oh, wow. It's always hard to talk about yourself. Yeah, but I am all of those things. I really got into writing. Because I used to tell tall stories when I was a little girl, and my mom said, "Look, you have to stop." And so she figured I was a creative, and she encouraged that. And I went into writing, and she just figured, she said, "You're a creative. I don't know what to do with you just yet." But once she saw me go down the writing rabbit hole, she, let me go. And I started writing. I entered the Young Authors contest, and that was really huge when I was in school in a CPS system. And so it was there where I wrote a story and I won first place in the school, and it was later turned into a book after I graduated from Columbia College. So, and then I just kind of created stories and turned it into a series. And my mom kept that story, and it was like I had written it the day before. I said, "Hey, mom, do you remember that story I wrote?" And I believe I was a sophomore at Columbia College then. And she went right to her file cabinet and pulled it out. And it was like brand new. She said, "I knew you were creative. And when you wrote this, I knew that I should keep it." And so, and that's really how things started for me.
Wow, how amazing. That is amazing. You know, I was looking at your name, Jordan Rivers. It's your pen name. How did you come up with the name Jordan Rivers?
Oh man. I wanted to be a better version of myself. And so I was praying and I said, "God, I want a name that's going to represent you." Like, people have to know that when they hear the name, that I am coming, directly from you, and that what I'm doing is going to help the kids of God's kingdom. And so I was reading the Bible. I can't even tell you what scripture it was in, because it didn't really hit me like what was happening at the moment. And I read a verse and it was talking about the River Jordan, and I said, "Oh, the River Jordan." And then I just kind of stuck on it for a second and kept reading it, and the Holy Spirit was like, "No, say it the other way." And I'm like, "Huh?" It's Jordan Rivers. And it flowed, and I said, "Oh, I like that name." And
Yes.
and part of me, I love the whole superhero aspect. And so to be able to come home and still be me to my family, but then when I'm outside, is that's just so cool, to me. So call me the nerd of comics, but I love that. So it works for me. And it also encourages me to move forward and not quit, because at the end of the day, I personally can quit, but Jordan can't. So you have to keep going. And so that's just, it stuck with me, and here I am.
Oh my goodness. I was just wondering. I figured that it had something to do with the River Jordan, but I just said I had to ask you that. What you kind of answered this a little bit, but can you tell me exactly round about what age you knew that you wanted to write?
What age? I don't think I was ever sure until I was in college. Um,
Okay.
but I was always in the arena. And it's just unfortunate that we didn't have a lot of programs on the south side of Chicago for Black kids to really hone in on those skills the way that they have for, the schools or the students or kids just on the north side of Chicago. So I think that if there was something there for me, that I would have figured it out a long time ago instead of figuring out while I was in undergrad.
Yeah, when I was looking at your bio, it's something later I'm gonna come back to that a little bit. But as we move on, I gotta make a note to myself because it's something you said in your bio that I want to go back and I want to pull on that. Your genre, is it, do you stick with just the children's? You talk to us about what your genre is.
I do. As far as writing for children, I feel that's just where my heart is. I don't feel like there's enough black stories out there for our kids or on film and TV. And so that's really I guess my expertise per se. And so that's where my heart is. Do I want to do adult things? Not really. Kids are cool, they're underestimated, and we need to have people to really sow into them because they're going to be our future. And so there's just a lack of so many things for our kids. And if we can see ourselves as heroes, just imagine the hope and inspiration and the hard work that it will bring from the kids. So I think about what like my mentors who I've never met, like Shonda Rhimes, and all these black women in film and how much they inspire me and how much I want to do. And I said, oh, if I would have seen them when I was this age, where would I be? So it's also important for me to mentor as well. So yeah, I'm definitely for the kids.
You also, as I was looking through, you tie in education, you tie in life lessons. I want you to talk about your books. I had the opportunity to kind of go over a few, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but The Village and the Cat Hair Catastrophe, that came out in about 2016,
Yes.
and then The Village and the Spider that grew and grew came out in 2014. Tell us a little bit about your books and your works and the projects you're working on.
Oh, wow. It's so important that we work together because you can get things done and you're able to share your ideas even if they're different and you can do things and still be different from one another. And so that's really what the books are about. And they're about these catastrophes that are just gone wrong and you actually have to work together to solve the problem, and that's so beneficial, or people working together to solve problems are really beneficial. And I don't know how many people realize that. And but because I don't know, who doesn't realize it, I have to focus on the kids so that I'm showing them that it matters to work together to solve problems. And so that's where like a lot of my stories are coming from. I want people to work together. I'm working on a girl series now that's all about girl power because there's just so much negativity when we talk about black girls in our communities. Oh, we don't get along and it's this and that. And it's okay to be different from someone or maybe not like someone but still respecting their space and their thought process. And that's really what I want to do. I want to help kids work together. And actually that's the first time, at this moment is the first time I'm realizing how everything that I do is connected to working together, because that's what I want.
That is awesome. Does your books, do they connect? Because I see you started with each one of them. It says the village, the village. We know, does that come from the adage "it takes a village"?
It does. That's exactly where it comes from. And fun fact is, I did not even think to put the village on the books until right before we were going to release it, and I said, wait, it's not done. There, it has to be something. And so it is the first two books in a series. So we're I'm actually looking to release the third one soon. I haven't settled on a date, but it's I think it's a great series. The Spider That Grew and Grew is about a professor who creates this potion to make things grow, and he wants to get rich. And unfortunately, his pet spider gets a hold of it, and he grows and he eats all the food that the villagers have grown. And so now he has this big problem, and it's all his fault. And so they figure out a way to fix everything. It's, a bit wacky. And then again, you have the cat hair catastrophe, where these cats or kittens at the time were sold to a village, and their cat hair is shedding at a speedy rate. And um, and the villages are cold and kind of dying of frost. And so that kind of ties hand in hand with the story. And so yeah, it's just all these crazy scenarios that this village goes through. And sometimes when I think about the world that we live in, we go through a lot of crazy scenarios here, and we have to work together and figure it out.
How amazing. You're tying a little bit of real life and magic fiction together. You, besides your books, you're doing something else. Something called Turn the Pages, in which you review. Can you tell us more about that? That's another project that you're working on that I was so excited to see, because you're tying in life lessons. Can you tell us more about the Pages?
Oh, absolutely. So it's a nonprofit. And when I first started, I was doing interviews and really interviewing people about colleges, and helping students get into college or be prepared for it. And last year, after the riots, and George Floyd's murder, I was completely baffled. And I'm like, this is the world we live in. And I felt like I needed to do something. I'm like, as an artist, I have to do something to help my people. What do I do? And so I remember God had brought back to my memory someone calling me book lady. And they said every time we, needed a book, here you were. And so I said, well, why don't I just continue to sow into the kids and do something for them? Um, and so that's when I decided to do free book reviews for other authors of color, um, because there's just such a lack of it. And it really kind of sat with me, because as you know, we're going through the riots, and you have like this argument of race and representation and all of that. And I'm like, we need to be represented correctly. And the other thing is, when you have a lot of self-published authors, people assume that they're self-published because they can't make it in the industry. Their writing is not good enough to be on the bookshelves, but that's not it at all. It's systematic racism in every single industry. It's just not talked about a whole lot the way it should be. And we have other organizations that are really huge, where, whereas we need diverse books, and I mean, they're a great organization, but they don't help self-published authors as much as I feel they need. So when I started, doing the book reviews, I wanted to make sure that people understood the lesson behind it, because every book has a lesson. I truly believe that you can always learn something. And sometimes you may learn something different when you read the book again. And so I just felt like, if parents are looking for books, let me help you and let me tell you the lesson behind it. And so that's how that started with the Turn the Pages.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, you're humbly talking about what you do. But I'm telling you, when you go to turnthepages.org, and I think there's a hyphen there, Chi-Town, Your latest, before I tell them that, your latest review that you did was Shiloh. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, Shiloh and Dandy the Lion.
And what was that review about?
Oh, that was definitely about a little bit of racism.
Yes.
Shiloh is a little black boy going to a new school, and he is definitely treated differently because of the color of his skin. And what a time to review such a great book like that. And there's definitely like a coping mechanism in there. And so I really wanted to speak about that. And because some kids, they keep things a secret because they feel that they've done something wrong when people do something wrong to them. And so I kind of want to bring that to the forefront and to let kids know like it's okay for you to be different, but if someone is messing with you, harassing you, just whatever it is for any reason, because of the color of your skin, the way you think, talk to your village and let them know, so that we can figure out a way to work through it, and definitely pass it. But that's such a great book. And all of the books that I reviewed thus far are amazing. And I wish, that when I was a little girl, I had these books to read because they're fun and amazing.
I wanna go to something because you said this again, and I think it's very important. It's a very important point to touch upon. In your bio, you said, if I had a mentor in my field, open to my ideas when I was younger, then who knows where I would be. That's powerful. That is absolutely powerful. Would you've been pointing and going to that a lot. A lot of times we just don't have the mentorship. Talk more about that.
Oh yeah. So I was taking a business class and for women entrepreneurs, and we talked about how other ethnicities are able to get ahead because of the color of their skin and how hard it is for black women. And it just really made me sit and think, and it's like, could I really have been further had I had someone who looked like me in the industry teach me or just talk me through certain things? And I started to research and I said, this is so true. Black women don't have enough mentors out there. And so I said, well, if there's not enough, then I'm gonna be one. And so I my mentors were, reading the books of people that I like. So Shonda Rhimes wrote a book, then I'm gonna read it because she has something to say specifically for me. If Issa Rae wrote a book, then I need to read it because there's something in there for me. And so that's what I began doing. I started reading books and they would drop these golden nuggets, and I, would follow the advice and realize, oh my, you know, where would I be if I had them 10 or 20 years before? And black women in general across all industries lack support and mentors in every industry. So film, um, publishing, everything. And because that was a huge concern for me, I just said, you know what? I have to figure out a way. So eventually, I want Turn the Pages to have a mentoring program to artists because it's extremely important.
Mentorship definitely can make a difference, especially in a child's life and in a person's life, to further them. So, I'm just grateful that you realize what you did not have and what it is that you can give back to help sow into young authors or a young child who feels they want to write and maybe they may not want to go as far, but to inspire and encourage them and let them know that their dreams are possible. Their dreams are definitely possible. You talked a little bit earlier about the challenges. I want to talk more about the challenges you have found in this industry. What are some of the challenges?
Oh. um for a while in the beginning for me, it was the lack of information. And you don't know what you don't know. So you don't even know what you're looking for when you start out sometimes. And just think, I have a degree in creative writing, and there were still not things taught to me that I felt like if they were, I could have definitely moved forward a lot quicker in life. So that was definitely a challenge. I think in general being black is a challenge. It you know, it's we know what's important for our community and to represent our people, but other people don't understand the trials and tribulations of black people in general, so they don't know why certain things are important. They don't get why representation is important. And so when you look in the media and everything is negative about black people, whether it be the news or whether it be the first person dying in a horror flick, whether it be the dark skinned girl, always having the attitude, like representation matters. And that's a huge concern that I have, because even though we're starting to step out into the light, it's still not enough for all the damage that has been done for decades at this point, and definitely centuries.
Yes, indeed. It always comes back to race, unfortunately, but it's a reality. It's definitely a reality. You know, I I just again I'm just so amazed, and I really want our viewers, to definitely get more information as we close out about where they can find your works. But what advice would you give aspiring aspiring authors?
Oh, read every single day, read and write, no matter how bad you may think your writing is when you're starting out. Reading actually makes it better. So that is so important. And then also read business books. So if you're gonna, market your own book, if you're gonna self-publish, read about it. Even if you decide that you're not gonna self-publish, you still need to read about agents. You may need to research a little bit about the publishing laws. So you're gonna definitely be reading and doing the work.
So educate. They have to definitely educate themselves and read. And as we said in
Absolutely.
the beginning,
Yeah.
it's knowledge. Power is knowledge. Um, where can people find more information about you, Jordan, and how to purchase your books or whether to donate to your non-profit? Where can they find out more information about you?
Uh, for more information for more information about me, you can go to authorjrivers.com, and there'll be a link that will direct you to Amazon Central, where you can purchase books. And for more about Turn the Pages, you can go to turnthepages.org.
Now, before I let you go, because our time just goes by so quickly, I hope you will definitely come back and join us again. The turnthepages.org, is that more geared to, would you say, and I don't want to compartmentalize it, but would you say that educators definitely could benefit from Turn the Pages? We know aspiring authors definitely can, but talk to us a little bit more about the benefits of Turn the Pages and projects that you're working on, if you can, future.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So Turn the Pages has a new partnership with Teach One Always. A dear friend and educator of mine, she's awesome. Tanya is great. But she sees the value in the book reviews that I'm doing. And so we've partnered up so that not only do you get a free art project to download based on the book, but then you can also get worksheets based on the book as well. So if you have a children's book, and of course, as a teacher, as an educator, you not only want to just read the book, you want the students to maybe have something to go with it. So now you have a book, an art project that is affordable and can be done for the whole class. And then you have reading comprehension worksheets. You may have some math and science and social science worksheets. So just a mini curriculum for each book will be designed. And that's for education purposes and also to help authors market and to show value for what they have written.
And it also a great tool for parents who want to homeschool their children. I was so amazed. I'm telling you, you must check out Jordan Rivers. Her information again is authorjrivers.com. If you want to see what we're talking about in terms of pages, it's just as it says all together. Am I right, Jordan?
Yeah.
Pages.org with the I can't think of that thing. It's an underline.
Oh,
Shy
the underscore. Oh, that's Instagram. So
okay,
that's
for
our,
Instagram. Okay.
yeah. But even if they just want to go to the website, they can go to turnthepages.org, and then we have our Instagram that they can click on and go straight to the page as well.
I mean, you are so phenomenal and amazing. And I am just happy to hear, even though we know that there are books, they're just so far and few and in between, and they're not on the shelves of some of our major stores to carry some of these books. I mean, have you found it hard to market or partner, or have you tried to partner, with some of our big box, our big chain stores to kind of get your product on the shelf? I know you talked about Amazon. Amazon, we know everybody know Amazon and get it to your door tomorrow if they can.
Yeah.
But have you had a problem in marketing or getting partnerships?
Yeah, especially in the past, they want you to be able to sell a certain amount of copies. And it's constant marketing, and I don't blame the bookstores because at the end of the day, they want to make money and
Mm.
to stay in business. And so it's hard for an author, especially if you're self-published, to keep your books on the shelves and pay for advertising and marketing. It can be difficult. So I'm still in the game and working on ways to get around that to make a difference. And so if I can do it for myself, then I know that I can do it for others.
Amazon. Before I let you go, Amazon, was it hard to partner with them and get them to carry your books?
Oh, no, not at all. For an author, you can create your own account. They will help you through the process and make sure you have certain things like your ISBN, set up your page, and then you can upload your books. So I have books available through ebooks as well as paperback. And people can just order them. It's quick. As an author, you can order your own books at a very low cost, and you can sell them at events if you want. And so you have options, and you could sell your books on your site. It's just whatever works best for you.
we definitely we definitely have to support our Black authors and our Black businesses. We have so much buying and spending power with African Americans. I mean, I think the numbers would absolutely blow some people's mind in the
Mhm.
difference that we can make in supporting our own authors. And I know for me, I know that as a grandmother, and again, not I wasn't as I think as cognizant as I am today and more aware that we need to have more products, more books, more toys, more television programming that is geared towards African Americans, Black writers, that our children can identify with, even roles of leadership. I mean, we've gotten there. People say, oh, well, we've had a Black president. That's not enough. That's not enough. Again, that's the highest office you can have, but it's not enough. We need to be able to support our Black authors. So definitely, I want our viewers to go to author J Rivers altogether.com and check out Jordan Rivers, this amazing, amazing author, screenwriter, playwright, mother. She is doing it and she is closing this gap and helping to close the gap. I look forward, Jordan, to coming back with you and checking up on you and seeing where you are, and certainly keep us abreast of what's going on with your projects. I am so glad to have you today, and I thank you so much. And will you come back and join me?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
And we appreciate you being on here on Real Talk. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, oh my God, she's so humble. Jordan is so humble. I just got excited looking at her page and looking at her website and looking and seeing what it is this phenomenal young author is doing. And I encourage you to go again and support Jordan Rivers. And she has books. We talked about the two books, The Village and the Cat Hair Catastrophe. Amazon, you can get it on Amazon. The Village and the Spider That Grew and Grew. I mean, oh my God, and for educators, for home people, parents that are homeschooling, the turnthepages.org is another powerful tool. And young authors can submit their work there too. So she's sewing back and creating lessons and mentorship. So it is really, really important. I thank her so much for joining us here on Real Talk. Well, as we close out, you know that I've got to get a word in from my brother Phil B. He has definitely been keeping his ear to the ground this week. I've been tickled by looking at his broadcast. I'm telling you guys, he doesn't even say half of what he says on that broadcast that he does. Sometimes I just want him to come on out and just say it. Phil, are you there? I see that burrito.
There we go.
All right, thank God, thank God. How you doing, my brother?
Oh, I'm doing good. How about everybody? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You got my favorite hat on, my beret. What's going on? How is it out there in El Mirage? We got a little cool weather here. How is it out there?
Well, we got a small reprieve. So, we're about 10 degrees cooler than we were last time I talked to you. We're about 103, but it's bearable. We've actually gotten some rain. They call it a monsoon out here.
Oh,
so,
wow. Yeah. Well, I'm glad the rain is going somewhere else. It's a little overcast here. I got a new name for you, my brother. I call you my brother Phil B. But when I was listening, I said, I gotta share this with you. I said, this is potty mouth. You got a potty mouth sometimes, but you at least you're speaking your truth.
Well, see that.
Potty mouth. If you ever watch Joe Madison, do you ever watch Joe Madison, the Black Eagle? Oh my goodness, you remind me so much of Joe Madison. I'm telling you, one day I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there and be able to say whatever the heck I want to say. But oh my God, it's so much going on. It's so much going on. It was so good to be able to go with the author Jordan Rivers and go into another land of imaginary and not real all the time, because man, the stuff that's going on is just oh man, it just makes me just stay in prayer constantly. I was listening to some of your broadcasts, and of course, you were talking about the people got checks if they had children. They got checks this week, and no matter how we look at this, Joe Biden under the CARES Act, I believe that's the CARES Act.
Yes.
He is really sewing into families. He
Oh,
really
yeah.
is trying to make a difference. And of course, the other side, not the Democrats, but the other side, the Republicans are they're never happy when it's going to benefit and help the middle class or the poor. They're never happy because it's not part of their agenda. Talk to me. Tell me, what's your thoughts about this stuff?
Well, first of all, Jordan, don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Keep pushing. And I don't know if you saw my comment on there, because she brings up a valid point. And I tell you, there's one thing about Black and minority people that we need to understand. Yeah, society's not going to create our avenues. We need to create them for ourselves. Don't worry about Barnes and Noble. Don't worry about Amazon.com. Let's get some ofcolor.com and try to, get creativity put out there in a positive light that we need to teach our youth, just like our parents taught us. When we were kids, we didn't have the internet.
That's right.
We was up, people couldn't find me because I was always up in the library.
Man, that's how we did. That's how we had to do our research papers.
Absolutely.
And there wasn't this internet knowledge. Wilson Carnegie Wilson Library on 95th Street in Chicago is where you would find me, because that's the only way we could do our research. And of course, you had encyclopedias, the expensive encyclopedias that my mom had, and a lot of people had those encyclopedias. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Oh yeah, we used to have our neighbors who didn't have encyclopedias come over and use ours, and we'd sit there and have reading sessions and stuff like that. She's right. It does take a village. It takes a village.
Absolutely.
And we need to recreate this village. And this ain't 1920 something where Black Wall Street and stuff. We don't have to worry. I don't think we have to worry about that again.
I hope not, Phil.
Not this day and age.
That means something really went wrong.
Well, there's already enough wrong in this country, and it's time for different leadership and different avenues of approach. We're still having to, I want to say hangover, but the drunk is still going on over the ex administration. Now we find that the man was going to talk about nuking Iran.
The coup.
Well, I thank God for military commanders, because they deserve a lot of credit for knowing that the Constitution is the rule of law as opposed to the man who sits in that chair.
Yep, and Millie is on it, ain't he?
Oh yeah, Millie's Millie was a colonel in 10th Mountain before he became commander of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, and he's always been a person that followed the Constitution and led his troops as such. And that's the kind of character you get in the military. You get people who know what we are there for, what we put this uniform on, why we wear these berets, why we wear that uniform, etc. It's not just for the benefits of being in the military. There's an innate pride of defending what people died and fought for hundreds of years now. Now we can say hundreds of years, even though we're still an infantile nation.
That's right.
But now, we got, like I said, the byproducts of the old administration found out today in Sacramento, they got guys wanting to blow up the Democrat. I'm sorry, how did they put it? I want to blow up a Democrat building, not Democratic, but Democrat building.
Blow up the campaign headquarters, was that it?
Yeah, well, their statement was Democrat head. I hate to specify without verifying.
Yeah, I know. No.
but that's that, his exact words. He want to blow up a Democrat building. They want to attempt a coup and all this stuff. This is just further proof, of what the right wing wants to deny about January 6th. It's just a continuation.
January 6th should have never happened. And
No,
I think
it's
that
no.
we do know that if it had been a different group of people
Oh yeah.
like you and I,
Oh yeah.
we wouldn't even be having this conversation. It
No.
dealt with in a totally different manner. And I don't care what anybody
be the
says.
conversation.
Anybody that goes with the intent of hurting someone, and he was trying to shake up some things, and he should be held accountable for this.
Oh yeah.
And it just seems like, it's going to happen slowly but surely, but he will be really held accountable by God, because you cannot do harm and plot and plan and do harm. Is that what the leader of our nation should be thinking about? He should be thinking about unity, not destroying mankind. I don't care if they're Republicans, Democrats, black, white, green, yellow, as you said, what are your the blue wing? You don't care what. I mean, come on.
Look,
That's crazy.
This country was based on a premise of equality. Even though it wasn't created in such, it was created on the premise of equality and the opportunity for every citizen to have, the same opportunities across the board. Now, the fear of this, I'm not going to put a percent number on it, but there is a percentage of white Americans in this country who feel like they are owed more than others. That's just the bottom line truth. I can't speak a mistruth on that.
That's right.
And unfortunately, since the advent of social media, we're finding out that what I call infestation is bigger than anybody ever thought. That's one of the reasons why the election was so close. People would rather believe a lie. They want to believe a lie about the stuff about COVID. They want to believe that the government wants to control your mind. Can you imagine trying to control the mind of 350 million people? Can you imagine the government trying to control my mind?
No, I know they can't control your mind, Phil. I know they can't. That can't be done. Can neither. Like I tell people, I couldn't have lived during slavery time.
Oh no, I couldn't.
I don't think I would be here.
I could live during slavery, but let's just say the Nat Turner probably would have been a mild domestic disturbance in comparison. I'll do whatever God put me on this earth to attempt to do. I can live through anything, or die trying. But there's just so much going on. We got more people every state in the country has a COVID uptick in cases. Every state again. Why? Because people don't want to believe science, the truth, et cetera, et cetera. Just saw a story the other day. Young lady, she's a Republican, her mom's a Republican. Well, her mom's been in the hospital for 3-4 months. Wow. And she's on TV boohooing that, they was didn't want to believe whatever. But now her mom's in the hospital. Now she's trying to get her friends who also don't want to get vaccinated. They ostracizing her for something that she's going through. How can you tell me if I got cancer and you don't, that the cancer ain't a problem? That's crazy.
Right. Right.
And that's literally what the right wing is doing right now. You look at, unfortunately, that Fox, I can't say news, that Fox advertisement station. Sometimes it's just ridiculous what they say.
You gotta wonder if they really believe the things that they're saying.
Well, I watch it for comedic value. and then when the comedy's over, because you can only take so much in a dose.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
Oh,
Right.
no.
Well, I just think that again, it comes back, and we really have to be careful, because when we're talking about all of these things, the coup, all of this power
Mhm.
in the wrong hands. You know how people
Yes.
say power in the wrong hands can be dangerous? It can be deadly in this
Oh,
case.
yeah.
And we've got to do a better job of electing people who are really for the interest of the people, and that
Oh, yeah.
really don't have personal agendas. And it's really hard. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I've sat on 2 school boards, and you see a lot of these things going forward, where people come and they sit in in these seats. And I mean, we're just people. Let's just say that people, before they're a title, they're a person. And so personal agendas do tend to creep up and take over. And some people go with an agenda from the get-go. And that's one thing about, the ex-president. I'm not calling his name on my show, but what I will say is I gotta give him some credit, because he had an agenda, and he went there with the agenda. He carried it out. He also brought out what was already existing, but that
Oh,
had
yeah.
been,
Oh, yeah.
held back a little bit, kind of like the covers was on it, and dealing with racism and biasness and all of that. So, we just got to be careful about who we seat and elect in these seats.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, and I've been, I've helped to change laws, and I've fought to do that and advocated for that. But at the end of the day, we need people, whether you're Republican or whether you're Democrat, we need people to come together for the best interest of the people. We don't need people who are willing to take the world down, no matter what, because I'm a Republican. It's about what's best, And sometimes, we got to forget, and we have some bipartisan going on. I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. Who cares? The
Okay.
bottom line is we gotta come together for the benefit, and unite for what is
the
best.
problem, one of the biggest problems I've seen is that, people, you can call us liberals, you can call us, if you got them called, if you calling me a liberal, then you calling Jesus Christ one, and guess what, I'll be that. But you got to understand that some people are mixing that with political and national agendas, and there's a reason why this country was based upon the separation of church and state. And when people understand why that was geniusly put in place, they'll understand that Republican and conservatism does not mean white supremacists and evangelical people who put other people down. Democrat is not Democrat or Baptist. And Baptist is democratic, progressive, liberal ideas. And when the two can sit and talk and have a conversation, so that's what we've been missing for the past 20 years, quite honestly.
Right.
Is two people sitting down and having a conversation, as opposed to this one-upmanship. When people are put in power or put in positions where they should be reflecting the will of the people, I'll put it that way. When they're when they're there and they don't do that, we need to fire them. See, everybody forget. I said it in one of my broadcasts before. We the boss. The president of the United States may think he got all this power or not, but ultimately, and he does, the direct power, but he does as long as we allow it.
Right. He
These
works
senators,
for us.
these
A lot of
senators,
these
these
politicians,
representatives,
they
yeah.
work for us. They're supposed to anyway.
Yeah,
If not, they're sitting up cashing a welfare check that they need to give back when
you
they're
didn't
doing
see,
nothing, as
you
you
saw,
said in your
you,
broadcast. You
you saw.
talked about that, how they sitting there for years not doing nothing and getting a check.
You know what has the right wing side of Congress done for the last 20 years? Prop up big business, the NRA, big oil, the airline industry, the car industry. But they're saying you send me and you about 15, 16 hours, you be all right. You be all right. Give him a couple, give him a couple pennies, he be all right. It sounds a lot like why people are leaving these jobs that they can't fill now,
Yeah,
because
man.
people ain't getting paid now.
Yeah,
So you got to pay them.
my youngest daughter wants to be a pilot, and that's what she's doing. She's training and going to flight lessons. But she was showing me an article where one airline, I think it was American Airlines, and I may have this twisted around, but they're at such a shortage, and this is all across the board, but they are willing to pay like 274, 247. It's one of those numbers per hour. Such a shortage. So, and I know due to attrition, but like you said, a lot of people are leaving these jobs. And I think people have, through COVID, have become a little smarter. At least they should have anyway. We found a more efficient way to do a lot of things. And that's we've been coming together like you and I. There was a time that we could not have done this and did an interview without being, miles and miles apart. So we thank God for technology. But we've got to change the narrative on a lot of things, and we've got to keep the conversation continuing. I got to get ready to go, Phil. I got to get ready to go. I got to get ready to go because you and I can talk all day long, But I do want to say one thing about the Miami condo, that situation. I just wish it had turned out.
Which, by the way, they've been kind of, slacking on the reporting here lately.
Yeah.
Which bothers me.
It's not main news anymore, but I mean, anytime that many people, have lost their lives, I mean, my prayers just go to the families and friends, but it's having people kind of look differently in high-rise buildings. I mean, all over. People are, it made them more aware. Hopefully.
What did God say? What did God
about building your house on sand?
He said, build your house on solid ground. See, mankind has this thing idea. About that their idea is better than God Almighty. He told you not to do it, and like I said, I'm surprised, and I don't. I'm not praying for, but I am surprised that it has not happened more often. However, we are seeing the failures of structures a lot more since 75, since we shipped our steel making abilities across the water. There has been a lot more walkways in Washington, walkways, falling on the traffic in Los Angeles, the Minneapolis stairwell, and all this kind of stuff. That hasn't happened a lot, before 1975, but now it's happening.
Products.
Yeah.
Quality of products. Phil, my brother, I gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta go, but I thank you so much for coming on. My guest, Phil Bynum. You can find Phil on Facebook. I'm telling you, this guy is holding back on us, but he really keeps his ear to the ground and tells his truth. And he's not riding in triple digit weather. I just want to thank also Jordan Rivers, our author, for coming on. I truly appreciate her sharing the fact that she's closing the gap on something that is much needed, and we need to see more Black authors. And I just think that you just need to go and check her out. Again, Jordan Rivers, she has 2 books on Amazon and turnthepages.org. Lessons definitely that educators can use, parents who are homeschooling. I thank you all so much for tuning in to Real Talk. Don't forget to like and share our page. Also, you can go to YouTube and put the name Real Talk with Merle in and see our past episodes. I thank my technical producer, Anthony Greer, and our contributing producer, Tanya Thomas. And again, thank you to my guests for coming, and thank you for tuning in. This again is our 10th episode. I'm so happy. God is so good. Stay safe, everyone, and we will see you next week at our regular time at 5 o'clock here on Real Talk. Have a great weekend.